9:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So I just said to Mac, I said, so did you hear about the Fat Queer Club and the conjoined twins? He just said I did not.
Nope, didn't.
So
Wasn't caught up.
The podcast, I think Johnny's putting the podcast up now. We were laughing.
Miss a little, you miss a lot.
Miss a little, you miss a lot. I'm not going to give you any context for that, by the way. I'm just going to leave
exactly.
it. I'm just going to leave it there.
Like, wait, what? The what and the what?
You missed it.
That's great.
You missed it. It is Tuesday, April 2nd. It's going to be a crazy weather day. Me and Mac will be staring at the radars. I guess that we could see some showers starting around noonish, maybe a little bit before then too. A few strays. But the serious stuff looks like it's going to be between 3 and 5. Am I correct in that?
That's the updated timeline I've seen, yeah.
Yeah, 3 and 5. Fingers crossed that everything will be fine. But if things get a little hairy, as they do from time to time, we will be here all day long. Myself, Murphy, Brian Wilson, the whole crew is on standby should we need to go into the wee hours of the morning. We are here for you when that extreme weather comes, and this is one of the things that we're grateful to be able to do. It's a service that we can provide, and we are happy to do it. So, as the weather happens, as it changes, we're going to be here for you on 99.7 WTN. And you can take us with you wherever you go with the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app. You can watch us on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, all the things, Facebook. Yesterday was April Fool's Day. And did you notice what percentage of the audience do you think caught on to our joke?
I gotta think it's, I don't know, maybe 25? Maybe a little more.
25 to 40%.
Yeah.
25 to 40.
Yeah, I give it that. I don't think it was over 50.
So me and Mac, it was really hard yesterday because we were laughing very hard
exactly.
every time we went into commercial because we had all these commercials that we were playing that sounded like this.
The pharmaceutical industry is at it again. They don't want you to vote yes on Proposition 208 and legalize medical cocaine. For millions of Americans, it's the medicine that helps them get through the day. A God-given plant strained through gasoline in the jungle by a man with missing teeth. Vote yes on Proposition 208 and legalize medical cocaine.
So I didn't get any approval for that. I kind of just started doing it. But a lot of people were laughing, and they were wondering where we were getting these from.
Yeah.
And then a couple people caught on. So these commercials are from GTA San Andreas.
That's Grand Theft Auto. It's a video game.
It's a video game.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, might as well preface that. Okay. Here's the crazy part. The video game was made in 2004.
Nuts.
2004. Now, you had like jokes like that, legalized medical cocaine, that you could tell are absolute jokes. But then there were other ones, like abolishing the nuclear family. And that one, it's so crazy that this was supposed to be absurd in 2004. Yet in 2024, you're not sure if this is a joke or not.
You are an...
Oh, not that one. This one.
Your groceries.
Nope. Which one is it? I got like 30 of these. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we had a big rotation.
We had a huge rotation. All right, so there's Great Truth, there's Long Bank. I have them all labeled, so I'm doing my best. Here we go.
Kids need stability, loving, stable parents, and a domestic environment similar to their friends. In the next election, it's time to finally make a change. Vote yes on Proposition 43 and outlaw the nuclear family once and for all. The nuclear family is the relic of a bygone age. Like nuclear reactors, they are dirty and prone to meltdowns that will poison generations to come. Vote yes on Proposition 43. It's time for some real family values.
So it's crazy that in 2004, that was one of the most absurd things that they could come up with in Grand Theft Auto. Yet here we are in 2024, and that sounds like something that you actually might hear. Right? Isn't that the
yeah, that's nuts.
The most insane? In 2004, who was even talking about the nuclear family
exactly.
like that?
That's a total joke.
So, I say that to say this. We can look at it and go, wow, our culture has fallen so much. But on the flip side, if we went back to 2004, me and Mac had a time machine, and you get to come with us, and we walked up to anyone on the street and said, hey, on Nickelodeon's sets right now, kids are being abused, do you think anybody would take us seriously? If we had a time machine, we could go back to 2004 and we could say, hey, there's an island in the U.S. Virgin Islands where wealthy elites are going, politicians are going, and they're engaging in heinous crimes and being blackmailed. Do you think anybody in 2004 would have believed us? So I just highlight that to point out that even though the Overton window is shifting, it's also shifting in our favor in many ways. And we're seeing it happening, right? We're seeing it happening in real time. And we notice it when we see shows like Quiet on the Set. Okay? Quiet on the Set is the HBO Max show that's coming out, or that came out, which detailed the chronic abuse of these Nickelodeon child actors on the Nickelodeon shows. Okay? Another actor has come out who worked on Nickelodeon shows, Matthew Underwood. He says he was assaulted by his former agent, but he also defends those who are staying silent about the Quiet on the Set show. Matthew Underwood was on Nickelodeon's Zoe 101. He says he was sexually harassed and assaulted by his former agent who didn't work on the show, full disclosure, but it's just like that's how prevalent this stuff is in kids' Hollywood. And he says that, he said, when I was 19, I was sexually harassed and assaulted by my agent at the time, who I had spent a decent amount of time building trust with as a friend and mentor. And he goes on to say, I reported him to the agency. He's been fired, although he's still active in the industry. This guy's still active in the industry. He goes, this experience provoked my move away from LA and ending my pursuit of acting. But he goes on to explain how it kind of makes sense to him why people aren't speaking up. He says, I imagine many of my friends in the business are being equally harassed if they aren't joining in the chorus, so I'm sharing this with the hope that some of you can recognize that just because a person doesn't shout from the rooftops that pedophiles are bad or that people can suck, that doesn't mean they don't have their own reasons for staying silent, good reasons, personal reasons. And I listened. I totally agree with that. There's got to be a lot of kids who are dealing with a lot of trauma from these shows and the pedophiles that were around them. And now Disney Channel directors are apologizing for hiring Brian Peck. Brian Peck was one of the persons in the show who he was accused of raping and molesting Josh Bell, right?
Drake Bell.
Drake Bell. Thank you. Sorry, I knew it was one of the two. So before his conviction, Disney Channel directors hired him. And now the Disney Channel directors, Beth and Rich Carell, have publicly apologized for publishing letters back in 2003 in support of Brian Peck, who was accused of abusing Drake Bell. There were so many letters of support for this guy. This guy was nuts. He had letters of John Wayne Gacy in his nightstand next to his bed. He was a pen pal with John Wayne Gacy, who was the infamous clown makeup child abusing murderer. He would write him back and forth. He had a painting of a clown from John Wayne Gacy.
Yeah.
Would that be a red flag to you? I feel like if you're... he said that all the kids from all that came into his room. He showed them the letters, and their parents were with them.
That's crazy.
Wouldn't that have been like, probably don't leave him alone with Brian? So Drake Bell says that Brian Peck sexually abused him at Nickelodeon when he was a child actor in the series All That. Drake and Josh and the Amanda Show. I think this article's wrong. I'm not sure if Drake Bell was on All That.
I don't remember him on All That. Yeah.
Not the original, but the second version. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I don't know, maybe.
But the allegations of abuse being explored in Quiet on the Set, the dark side of kids' TV, they're shedding so much light on all this, and it's blowing up. In fact, they've announced a new episode of Quiet on the Set is returning.
There's more.
Have you seen the whole series yet?
I haven't yet. No.
I still got to give you my login.
Yeah.
I got a lot of logins I need to give
Yes, please.
you. All right.
I've seen a lot of the clips. Yeah, I want to watch. I mean, I watched all those shows, so it's sad and it's weird.
So they're coming back with Breaking the Silence. It's going to be a new episode that will air this month in like a discussion format. I'm not exactly sure how it works. Maybe they're going to have a big group of people. But Investigation Discovery, that's the team that is putting this together. They announced that there would be a 5th episode of Quiet on the Set coming out in April. And according to posts on their social media, the episode's titled Breaking the Silence, and it's going to dive in further to the toxic and dangerous culture behind some of the most iconic children's shows of the late 90s and early 2000s. So a long way of saying that we can look at how far our culture has gone off a cliff, right, and how bad things have gotten, but we also need at the same time to realize how awake we've gotten and how aware we are. Because if you went back to 2004, when those funny commercials that we played yesterday were created and they were supposed to be absurd in 2004, if we went there and said, hey, all of these shows on Nickelodeon, these kids are being abused, people wouldn't have taken you serious. They just wouldn't. So the 5th episode is going to air on Investigation Discovery, 7 o'clock on Sunday, April 7th. And then it'll be available to stream on Max or Amazon Prime on the day it airs, as well as on demand and all those things. So,
yeah, I got to watch. Schneider made a whole response, right?
Really?
Yeah, a whole video.
Dan Schneider.
Dan.
Rob.
No, Dan Schneider.
And Dan Schneider is the guy that basically was the kingmaker at Nickelodeon. He produced and created all of these shows, All That, Amanda Show,
Total
Amanda
Creeper,
Bynes, Drake and Josh. What were the other ones? Zoe 101.
Yep.
Wizards of Waverly Place. Is that?
No, it would have been Victorious.
Yeah, Victorious.
Yeah.
iCarly.
iCarly. That's what. Yeah,
that was a big
loved
one.
iCarly. Yeah.
You loved it.
I did. I watched it all the time. This is middle school.
Listen, I'm not. No judgment. JFC, Judgment Free Zone.
Well, yeah, it would have been weird if you were watching iCarly. You were my age, so
this is fair. I didn't watch any of this, but there are a lot of people that have woken up to all this stuff. I wonder what Dan Schneider said.
Yeah, I've only watched bits and pieces, but he had someone from one of those shows on to do the interview. Yeah, not one of the child actors, but yeah, one of the adults. Yeah, he was on iCarly.
So he got one of his friends to interview him.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, and he made it seem like this actor or whatever who was interviewing had him on, but it's like, dude, this is your show. This is your podcast. You're like constructing this whole thing. Yeah.
Dude, it's insane.
Yeah, I saw a clip of him crying. It didn't seem genuine.
Dan Schneider was crying?
Yeah.
What was he crying about?
Apologizing and feel so bad.
But like all this stuff, like the Drake Bell stuff, that happened, like 10 years ago now?
Yeah, probably more.
Yeah, save
more
your
than
tears.
That. Yeah,
save your tears.
More than that, yeah.
Like that's just so fake to me. Plus, there were rumors about Dan Schneider on the internet forever.
For a long time. Long time.
And part of me wonders if his name just didn't come up because people were nervous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's so many awkward stories in that Quiet on the Set about what he was doing to his writing team, and then all the time that he spent with those kids in the meantime. It's just disgusting. But
Tebow from iCarly. Someone just sent a members nutrition text. He was a waiter on iCarly. That's it. Tebow. Yeah.
Tebow.
He did the interview. Yeah.
Who's Tebow?
He was on that show. He did the interview with iCarly. He would walk around with it was a whole shtick. He had a stick of like bagels or a stick with peppers on it. It was stupid. Yeah. But that's who we got.
It's crazy. I'm gonna watch that.
Yeah, I gotta watch that too.
Is it just on the YouTube?
Yeah, I think it's on YouTube.
Yeah, because no TV network would touch Dan Schneider with a 10-foot pole at this point in time.
Heck no.
No, and they're saying that he still wants to try and make a comeback of some sorts.
Gosh.
I don't think that he's ever going to make a comeback, right?
No way.
In fact, it's like I'm personally in the camp of I think we should just cancel all these networks and start fresh. I really do. Including Cartoon Network, but this is for a different reason as opposed to what happened on these children's shows to child actors. Cartoon Network has met the ire of myself for another reason, and I'll tell you after the break. It's 9:20 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand, and I want to tell you about the Learn Right Summit, We talk about the RPMC. You know, you want to get your kids equipped to have the best education possible. You want to empower yourself with knowledge so that way you're equipped for these kind of conversations. And it starts at the Learn Right Summit. It's coming to the JW Marriott in downtown Nashville, April 19th and 20th. Now, the Learn Right Summit is going to be a gathering designed exclusively for you. Whether you want to run to be a member of the school board, whether you are on a school board, or you're just a passionate parent who wants to elevate our education system. The Learn Right Summit is going to be great. You're going to be able to immerse yourself in all these different discussions, collaborative workshops, and thought-provoking panels that'll range from school safety to transgender ideology being pushed on children. And believe you me, it is being pushed on children. We'll talk about that more in a bit. But one of the things the left does is they organize. They have a team. We don't do that on the right quite as well. This is going to be one of those opportunities for you to start building that team. The Learn Right Summit, April 19th and 20th at the JW Marriott, downtown Nashville. You're going to be able to forge meaningful connections with fellow attendees and establish that network of support that will extend beyond the summit. Plus, you're going to hear from great speakers like Riley Gaines, Chairman Mark Green, Byron Donalds, and more, including education experts and community leaders. They're all going to be there sharing their wisdom, experience, and strategies to create a thriving educational environment. Now, the website to get tickets, it's a little long, so bear with me. leadershipinstitute.org/LearnRight24. That's leadershipinstitute.org/LearnRight24. And if you use the promo code LearnRight24, you'll get 25% off your tickets. It's leadershipinstitute.org/LearnRight24.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
What an absolute mess. Hey, it's Dan Mandison. Look at my closets. Unorganized to say the least. Even my window dormer is a train wreck. Stuff is everywhere. Now, luckily, California Closets is coming to my rescue. My personal design consultant, Vince, stopped by, measured, and is now showing me how to become more space efficient and organized on his 3D CAD system. It is amazing. And soon, my space is going to be organized, and yes, even Bandit approves. California Closets, a local company that can customize the storage in any room of your house. California Closets, what can they do for you? Find them online at californiaclosets.com and reach out for your free in-home consultation. Hey, it's Dan Mandison. I love My Patriot Supply. It's emergency food so you can care for your family no matter what. And today, we're fixing creamy chicken flavored rice. And the thing I love about My Patriot Supply, it's easy. You just get the water, turn on the heat, and in minutes, we are ready to go. Now, this food lasts for 25 years in special packaging, and yes, it does taste great. And in just minutes, it's ready to eat. Patriots don't rely on the government to take care of their family in emergencies. It's up to you. Order right now and get $200 off a 3-month food kit. It's important to go to preparewithmandis.com to get that great discount. That's preparewithmandis.com to get that great discount. Preparewithmandis.com. $200 off a 3-month food kit.
Got crashes in the way. 21st Avenue south at Blakemore Avenue. Also 24 westbound at the I-40 exit, 52A and B. Active weather in West Tennessee. We have a tornado warning in effect for Carroll County. That's 116 miles west of Nashville. This system isn't even the one the National Weather Service says we really need to worry about. We got all the details coming up at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It is 9:28 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Got a text here from Sharon. She's a member of the Red Pilled Moms Club, the RPMC. Sharon said, I took our son to Cool Springs Galleria about 15 years ago to meet Drake Bell. Drake Bell obviously is one of the child actors from Nickelodeon who was exposing the rampant pedophilia and child sex crimes on Nickelodeon sets. She says, 15 years ago, we took our son to meet Drake Bell along with hundreds of other preteens. Sharon goes on to write, Drake was a shell of himself. No light in his eyes. Couldn't look at anyone. Incredibly sad.
That is so sad.
Incredibly sad.
Well, and apparently all the stuff that was alleged to him about his sexual assaults didn't actually happen, is what now I've read or looked into. And so when he left the U.S. to go live in Mexico because he kept getting just absolutely ridiculed, it wasn't even true. And so this guy's had it rough, man.
Well, so he was getting ridiculed because why?
Of allegations that he was, when he was, I think, in his late 20s, early 30s, texting a 17-year-old or 16-year-old.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But it wasn't true.
I never heard that story. I thought he fled just because he couldn't deal with.
I'm sure that was part of it too, but I think
everything. You know what I mean? Jason wants to know if I hope that you can't go after Captain Kangaroo, Mr. Rogers, or Bozo. That is what I watched as a child. No.
I think you're in the clear.
I won't go after the classics. I knew a lot of people that knew Mr. Rogers when I worked in Pittsburgh for 2 years. I met the original Mr. McFeely.
What?
Yeah, had a long conversation with him. Everybody that I was connected with in Pittsburgh all had nothing but positive things to say about Mr. Rogers. And we went to the Mr. Rogers Children's Museum. Mr. Rogers was legit.
Goat.
Yeah, absolute goat.
He's the man.
Absolute. Hey, it's Chris Hand here for my friends at the Glock Store. Do you know that I'm on Team Glock Store now?
Glock Store.
I'm so hyped. Now, I got to go to the facility yesterday, take a tour. I got to see the shooting rooms. They don't do lanes, which is just fantastic. I've never participated in something like that, and I'm so excited. This building, the Glock Store building, is so much bigger than I was ready for. It is 35,000 square feet. And these shooting rooms, you can shoot in multiple directions at multiple targets. It's not down a lane. The guys were laughing. They're like, listen, you shoot down a lane, you kind of do it. And after that, you're wasting ammo. So they don't do that at Glock Store. What they do is provide you with a huge selection of rental guns, including full auto and suppressed. This is the perfect spot for couples, families, date nights that are going to be a unique night out. And you can learn from the basics to USPSA-style competition shooting. But don't just try walking in on a weekend. They'll be all booked up. So if you're looking for a weekend time slot, don't wait. Go to Glock Store, shoot270.com, and get your room reserved today. Or you can call them at 615-682-1021. You can always go visit the Glock Store. They have a huge selection of anything you need. The drive is just minutes from the airport, and it's worth the drive from anywhere. Look them up on glockstore.com or shoot270.com and call them today and get your shooting room, 615-682-1021.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories, tracking the potential for severe weather in Middle Tennessee. The timeline between noon and 9 o'clock tonight, but right now just 100 miles west of Nashville. Storms in West Tennessee prompting some tornado warnings in 3 counties just northeast of Memphis. These tornado warnings are as a result of rotation in radar, nothing confirmed. 40,000 people are without power in Memphis. And this is not even the batch of storms the National Weather Service says will carry the biggest severe weather threat today in Middle Tennessee. Meanwhile, in Kentucky, thousands are without power after severe storms that prompted tornado warnings between Bowling Green and Louisville. Keep it right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We got you covered for this round of severe weather. Going to be a long day today. Middle Tennessee again under the gun between noon and 9 o'clock tonight. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Hey, listen, if the weather gets hairy, we're going to be here for you all day. It looks like the most intense weather is going to be between 3 and 5, and we will be live on Super Talk 99.7 WTN, whether it's me, Matt Murphy, Brian Wilson. If things get worse or serious, we will be here for you no matter the time. We are all on standby, and it's one of those situations where we are more than ready, willing, and able to help out. It's 9:38 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I wanted to make a point, and this is for my friends in the Red Pilled Mom Club. Cancel Cartoon Network. I'm over Cartoon Network. The children's TV channel Cartoon Network did something on Easter. They didn't celebrate Easter. No, they actually publicly voiced support for Transgender Day of Visibility. And just to remind you, this is Cartoon Network, who caters towards children, primarily children, younger viewers. They put a celebratory post on Instagram on Easter Sunday, and the network offered adulation to what it called its transgender and gender nonconforming family. Crazy. The network also had blunt words for anyone who dares to mount criticism, labeling, or any such dissent as hate. They said, "We're not doing hate today. Be kind or be blocked." Okay. Cartoon Network also didn't make any acknowledgement of the Easter holiday. At all. At all. This comes on the heels of Joe Biden declaring that Easter Sunday would be known as Transgender Day of Visibility, which obviously resulted in a ton of backlash. A ton. So much so that now Joe Biden is walking around saying he didn't declare it the day of transgender visibility. Yep. Joe Biden is now bizarrely declaring Easter Sunday Transgender Day of Visibility. Yep, you heard me right. So Real Clear Politics reporter Philip Melanchthon, I don't know how you do it, detailed a Q&A of Biden's denial on Monday. According to this reporter, Biden said, "I didn't do that," and claimed Speaker Mike Johnson, who criticized Biden for making the proclamation, is thoroughly uninformed. When he was asked about proclaiming Easter as Trans Day of Visibility, Biden's quote was, "I didn't do that." So there's a couple things that maybe happened. I think first and foremost, we know that Joe Biden isn't running his own Twitter account. Maybe they didn't run this by him. We also know it doesn't really look like Joe Biden is running the White House or the country. People in the shadows are doing that as well. Maybe they didn't tell him. On the flip side, the alternative is he's just lying to the American public, which is certainly in play because the denial is blatantly false. On Good Friday, the White House issued a proclamation titled A Proclamation of Transgender Day of Visibility 2024. The proclamation read, "On Transgender Day of Visibility, we honor the extraordinary courage and contributions of transgender Americans and reaffirm our nation's commitment to forming a more perfect union where all people are created equal and treated equally throughout their lives." The proclamation reads in part. It further goes on, and it reads that it is a message that is written by Joe Biden with the frequent use of "I" and "my administration," and it goes on and on. "Today, we send a message to all transgender Americans. You are loved. You are heard. You are understood. You belong. You are America, and my entire administration and I have your back." That's how the proclamation reads. It makes it clear that Biden is the one declaring Easter Sunday as Transgender Day of Visibility. It even says, "Now, therefore, I, Joseph R. Biden Jr., President of the United States, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Constitution and the laws of the United States, do hereby proclaim March 31st, 2024, as Transgender Day of Visibility." So either the man is lying blatantly, or He just has no idea what's being done in his name. Karine Jean-Pierre also went on the record and says it's misinformation that Biden declared Easter Sunday as Transgender Day of Visibility.
So the criticism over the Transgender Day of Visibility, the White House said that the president wouldn't abuse his faith for political purposes. Does the president think that's what Republicans are doing on this?
I mean, look, just a couple of things, and really so surprised by the misinformation that's been out there around this, and I want to be very clear. Every year for the past several years, on March 31st, Transgender Day of Visibility is marked. And
so she says that we're peddling misinformation, but even on this show yesterday, I said, yeah, this day's been going on since 2009. I don't think that anybody's been pushing misinformation that this is a new thing or people were taken by surprise. I think that people were visibly upset because of the overwhelming show of support for Transgender Day of Visibility and then the slight small, oh yeah, by the way, it's Easter.
And as we know, for folks who understand the calendar and how it works, Easter falls on different Sundays, right? Every year. And this year it happened to coincide with Transgender Visibility Day. And so that is the simple fact. That is what has happened.
Well, but the simple fact, though, is that Christians feel like they have been smacked repeatedly by the Biden administration over and over and over again. I think that that's the simple fact. In fact, even the D.C. Archbishop called Biden a cafeteria Catholic yesterday. His name is Wilton Cardinal Gregory, and he says, "Listen, Biden, he's a cafeteria Catholic." He says, he may be Catholic, but he's just picking and choosing. He's not really following Scripture.
In the case of the president, do you get a sense that his regular attendance and adherence to the faith resonates with American Catholics?
I would say that he's very sincere about his faith. But like a number of Catholics, he picks and chooses dimensions of the faith to highlight while ignoring or even contradicting other parts.
That happens so often. I mean, we can go down the line. Abortion. But the cardinal, the Archbishop, Wilton Cardinal Gregory, calls Biden a cafeteria Catholic.
There is a phrase that we have used in the past, a cafeteria Catholic. You choose that which is attractive and dismiss that which is challenging.
Yeah, and it's the first time I've heard the term cafeteria Catholic. One of my phrases that I hear often is the eco-Christian. You're Easter and Christmas only. But I think after Transgender Day of Visibility, he would not be an eco-Christian because he completely left out the Easter portion of that and focused on Transgender Day of Visibility. Now, he points out the D.C. Archbishop, what Biden is, what is he ignoring?
Is there something on the menu he's not ordering, in your view?
Well,
so to speak?
I would say there are things, especially in terms of the life issues, there are things that he chooses to ignore, or he uses the current situation as a political pawn rather than saying, look, my church believes this.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure he actually goes to church. There are people that say that, he goes to Mass every week, he gets communion every week. Well, he's a very, very poor Catholic. And he's losing the religious community. And Transgender Day of Visibility was just another exclamation point on that. And it's not just the D.C. Archbishop calling Biden a cafeteria Catholic. Biden has also lost the nun crowd. There's a nun that hosts a podcast, and she really lays into Joe Biden.
In normal times, an election is the moment when ordinary people can take back control of their nation's destiny. But these are not normal times. Across the globe, men and women are waking up to the alarming truth that governments no longer serve God or the people. And beloved, I'll interrupt to say myself that if President Trump gets in, it's a complete act of God. If Biden is not reelected, it is a complete act of God, because every scheme and every evil is out there that he would continue to be our president, as inept and evil as he is.
And it does feel like we're in this battle of good versus evil. And it does feel like the religious communities, by and large, are saying no to the Democrat Party. We're not with that. Wes in the borough, you're next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. What's going on, Wes?
Hey, thank you for taking my call. I'm sorry I'm a little bit late. This child pedophile thing has been going on for years.
Yep.
Saw a thing on YouTube about Shirley Temple Black. Most of your listeners are my age, so they'll know who she is. If not, Google it. She was a child actress in the 30s, very famous. There was a movie that somebody produced, and all these children were naked in it. And the countries like Denmark, and there was another couple, even France said, no, this is way over the line. We refuse to let you show this movie. And she was abused. And think about, Michael Jackson, when all that rumor started coming out. And even though he claims that they found proof that never happened, but just think you have parents who force their kids to go to Michael Jackson's house, even if it's just a rumor and you can't prove it, why would you take a chance on your precious child? It was for money. And all these people doing all this stuff, you got sick people, Harvey Weinstein, all these people are Democrats, man. They keep voting, Harvey Weinstein and these people from Nickelodeon, I guarantee you they're big-time Democratic donators. It is a sick society we live in, and we've got to grab it and purge this evil that has infested our hearts and our souls. Thank you.
You're absolutely right, Wes, and I'm with you, man. It is evil, but I think that it's also important to point out people are noticing now. We have so many examples. We have Weinstein. We have Epstein. We see what's happening with Diddy. People are waking up to this. And I think that scares the crap out of them. I hope it does. It should. Enough is enough. I mean, if you're not protecting the kids in your society, spoiler alert, you're not a very good society. And that's just the facts. There's no way around that. So, I say that to say this. While this stuff is dark and it's disturbing and it's depressing, at least people are seeing it. At least people are waking up to the reality of what's happening in Hollywood and in politics and in entertainment. And they're not asleep to this any longer. It's 9:51 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand, here for my friends at membersnutrition.com. Listen, your health needs to be your number one priority. And you've heard me talking about the Youthful Cleanse by Daily Defense, but membersnutrition.com is bringing you so many different vitamins and supplements to your door. And the best thing that they do is they make all of their vitamins and supplements right here in America. I've taken the Youthful Cleanse. It's pretty awesome. Now, it's like what's in your body. You're building up all of this toxicity from the food we're eating, from the air we're breathing. Well, the Youthful Cleanse is going to assist in removing that waste and toxin. It's going to help you cleanse your liver, help restore gut health and balance, and help you promote weight management. You can get that at membersnutrition.com along with so many other supplements, whether it's immune supplements that you're looking for, or relaxation, or men's and women's health, sports nutrition, anti-aging. They have it all, and it's all made right here in the USA. Plus, right now, if you're a member at membersnutrition.com, members are going to save up to 50% off retail every day. And you do it by going to membersnutrition.com, buying your vitamins and supplements from right here in the USA, not from somewhere overseas. When you buy at membersnutrition.com, you know you are buying something that's made in the USA. You're doing two things at once, taking care of your body and taking back some of the power that we've given to other countries by outsourcing all this stuff. You're bringing it back here to America. So go to the website now, membersnutrition.com. That's membersnutrition.com.
Tornado Watch. Details coming up at 10 on Supertalk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It is Supertalk 99.7 WTN. Yeah, the weather, man, it's getting a little hairy. I got a text here on the Members Nutrition text line from our friend Christina. She said, I may not agree with Cartoon Network recognizing the transgender holiday for kids, but I also don't understand why you're upset that they didn't recognize that it was Easter. If they did, should they also recognize every other religious holiday, no matter the religion? And, well, here's the thing. If they didn't recognize any religion, that's one thing, right? But a quick Google search shows Cartoon Network actually posting for Ramadan, the Muslim holiday. So they'll post about Ramadan. They'll post about Transgender Visibility Day, but they won't say anything for Easter. And I think that's my biggest problem. The attack is on Christians. That's where we're at. That's just the facts. And to be fair, I have no problem with them posting about Ramadan. Like, cool. You probably have viewers who are Muslim. Like that's okay. But you have viewers that are Christian too, and you just chose to ignore that. And instead, you chose to post about Transgender Visibility Day for an audience that is primarily children. You're targeting children with transgender ideology, and that is a bridge too far. It's 10 o'clock on Supertalk 99.7 WTN.
O'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. And now all of Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky is under a tornado watch until 3 o'clock this afternoon. Looks like some severe storms have popped up just to the west of Nashville by about 100 miles. And they are prompting at times some tornado warnings because there is rotation indicated in radar. That's tornadoes indicated by radar only. There has been no confirmation of any tornadoes touching down in West Tennessee, but right now we do have some strong storms just west of Nashville moving this way. And now the National Weather Service has issued a tornado watch for all of Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky until 3 o'clock. Stay tuned. We will be here to let you know the very latest. We'll break in when we have to, tell you where the dangerous parts of this storm are going and when they're going to be out of here. Right now in our nation's capital, Karen Travers has reaction to the 7 aid workers killed during an Israeli Defense Forces attack in Gaza.
The Biden administration is calling on Israel to swiftly investigate the circumstances of the airstrike that killed aid workers with World Central Kitchen. The non-governmental organization, founded by chef Jose Andres, has been operating in Gaza for months and says it served more than 33 million meals since the start of the conflict. Adrian Watson with the National Security Council says the White House is, quote, heartbroken and deeply troubled by the deaths, adding, quote, humanitarian aid workers must be protected as they deliver aid that is desperately needed.
Yeah, that food relief organization now says it plans to pause its operations there in Gaza. And that's the latest news. Another look at weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, it's Chris Hand here for my friends at the Glock Store. You know the Glock Store, 1930 Air Lane. The drive is just minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere. I got to go visit the Glock Store yesterday, and oh my gosh, it was my first time out there. Took me completely by surprise. I got the whole tour of the facility. They do everything in-house, and this facility is huge, 35,000 square feet. The shooting rooms are unbelievable. They don't have lanes. They have shooting rooms. You can shoot at multiple targets from different angles. I got to walk through some of their more skilled training rooms where you can learn how to clear a house. They talk to me about how they're going to do, they do training where they do it with low light, no light, so you can kind of practice what a real life scenario would be like if someone broke into your home, God forbid that ever happens, how you would handle that, how you would clear every room. And you can do that training with your spouse, with your significant other. The training is amazing. And you can always make an appointment at shoot270.com or by calling the range desk at 615-682-1021. But I mean, 35,000 square feet. They have a huge selection of rental guns, including full auto and suppressed. This is the perfect place for a date night. If you want to take your girlfriend or your wife, bring your family. They call it date night with a difference. I'm definitely going to be dragging Virginia out there. I might just surprise her so that way we can limit the discussion. I'll be like, hey, let's just go do this. It's going to be fun, and she's going to learn a lot. I am actually, honestly, really excited about bringing my wife to the Glock Store because one of the things that she's not as comfortable with is a firearm, and I'm already looking at the training that they provide and knowing that once she gets done with that, she's going to feel very comfortable with a firearm, carrying it daily, and all those things that come with it. Plus, you know, with all the kids we have, safety is going to be our responsibility. And the Glock Store wants to make sure that you're safe with your firearm, and that training is so important. So if you want to make an appointment today to get one of those range rooms, you're going to love it. Shoot270.com or call the range desk now at 615-682-1021. That's the Glock Store. It's minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere. Glockstore.com, 615-682-1021. (10:06) on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, just a heads up. At about an hour from now, Monty Fritz is going to be calling in. I know that the RPMC loves Monty Fritz, the Red Pilled Moms Club. Monty Fritz, he has officially gotten the ban on geoengineering passed, and it is now going to the governor's desk. So he's going to give us an update at 11:05. Very excited about that, and the banning of weather modification and all of that. This is huge, huge. So I want to give him a big high five and a hug and a pat on the back. All the things when we talk at 11:05. So I wish he was in studio. I'd hug him on camera.
Oh, you would gleefully.
Are you kidding me? It'd be like, to the point where he'd be like, okay.
You're like, that's enough.
Like, all right, dude. Like, my guy. Monty is one of us. So I'm very excited about that. In the meantime, I do want to talk about 2024. You want to do a court case update?
Let's do it.
Where you want to go first? Biden or Trump?
Don't.
All right, fine. Let's go to Trump.
All right. Trump has officially posted his $175 million bond in the civil fraud case. It frees him up to start the appeal process, and they can't seize his assets. So he posted that $175 million bond. In the case, the Knight Specialty Insurance Company backed the bond. An attorney for a Los Angeles-based firm wrote in a court filing Monday, as promised, President Trump has posted bond. The former commander-in-chief's lawyer, Alina Habba, said in a statement Monday evening. He looks forward to vindicating his rights on an appeal and overturning this unjust verdict. So he's successfully lobbied the appeals court to lower the bond from, like $500 million, almost $500 million to the drastically reduced amount. They gave him 10 days to do it. And that was March 25th. Now he's posted the lesson bond. It's kind of an amazing time when we can go, $175 million to appeal. That was pretty reasonable. That's reasonable. So now Trump is going to appeal the $454 million penalty the Manhattan Supreme Court Justice Arthur Engoron hit him with last month. So he had to put up the bond in order to appeal. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing this overturned. I don't know if we will see that. We're dealing with New York, and with New York comes New York things. But on the flip side of the coin, Hunter Biden wanted to have his tax case thrown out, and that was they told him no. They said no. So he attempted to have all of his tax charges thrown out, and that was defeated, letting the criminal case against him move forward. It was a federal judge in California deciding against the younger Biden, the Hill reports. Now, the decision confirms Hunter Biden faces 3 felony charges and 6 misdemeanor charges in connection to tax evasion, filing a false return, and failing to pay taxes between 2016 and 2019. Hunter, of course, has pled guilty to not all charges, and his attorneys argued last month that the case was politically motivated and tainted by 2 IRS agents who later became whistleblowers. The president's son filed 8 separate motions to dismiss the charges, citing different legal rationale for each, including immunity claimed from a previous plea deal he had negotiated, all of which were denied. And the U.S. District Judge Mark Scarsi determined that the case was not political, and it sidelined Hunter's main argument. And it noted that Biden's attorneys did not provide evidence for that claim. He was quoted as saying, "The motion is remarkable in that it fails to include a single declaration, exhibit, or request for judicial notice. Instead, the defendant cites portions of various internet news sources, social media posts, and legal blogs. These citations, however, are not evidence." I feel like that. I do that a lot for my show. Various internet news sources, social media posts, and legal blogs. Not evidence. Scarsi added the sources, mostly media reports about the case, contain multiple levels of hearsay. The Hill reports that the judge similarly threw out Biden's claims of selective and vindictive prosecution, saying the defendant fails to present a reasonable inference, let alone clear evidence of discriminatory effect and discriminatory purpose. Accordingly, the selective prosecution claim fails. So now Hunter could face a maximum of 17 years in prison if convicted. In total, the president's son faces 42 years in federal prison for the 9 tax and 3 gun charges. I will say this. There's no way Hunter Biden will face 17 years in prison over tax evasion. He's not going to have the book thrown at him like other famous tax evaders like, I don't know, Wesley Snipes. You know what I mean? He's not going to deal with that. He just won't. He just won't. And it's an election season, right? So, what comes with elections in this new modern era? Bird flus are back on the menu. Apparently, there is a bird flu sweeping through dairy farms across America. Officials are not saying that the risk to the public is high, but on Friday, authorities with the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service said the virus has caused illness in cows in Texas, Kansas, and Michigan. The officials also said there were presumptive positive test results for other herds living in the states of New Mexico and Idaho. It's the first time the disease has been found in dairy cattle, according to the American Veterinary Medical Association. Goats on a Minnesota farm where poultry had contracted the bird flu also came down with the virus. So goats and cows and birds. Government officials say the risk to the public amid the current outbreak remains low. Most past human infections have occurred after people had unprotected exposures to sick or dead infected poultry. I have to ask, right? Who's doing that to themselves? You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to be working with sick, dead, or infected poultry, gloves.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Big gloves.
I would be wearing one of those beekeeper suits.
Yeah, 100%.
A nose plug.
Yeah. May even put a mask on for that one. I'd be strapped up.
Yeah. I'd go full Fauci, double mask. So they say most past human infections have occurred after people had unprotected exposures to sick or dead infected poultry. It's nasty.
Eek.
Like,
that's not good.
So it's like when I worked at Dunkin' Donuts as a kid, I'd come home smelling like donuts.
Yeah.
Imagine the smell. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, yeah, movie theater, yeah, come home, popcorn, farmer, poultry.
Dead or infected. You smell like dead or infected poultry. The whole house smells like dead or infected poultry now. USDA officials said the dairy supply is safe because those farms must divert or destroy milk from livestock affected by the illness. So does that mean milk prices are going to go up? I can barely afford milk as it is.
Yeah.
I'm like trying to switch the 2-year-old to water. Like, please. Additionally, pasteurization, which is required for milk entering interstate commerce, kills bacteria and viruses, including influenza, the NPR report said. I don't know, man. You heard about the benefits of raw milk? You heard people talking about that on the internet?
The gut health.
Yeah.
I have.
I haven't tried raw milk, but...
So, yeah, someone that I listened to a podcast of. Yeah, he just talked about it. Yeah. He just tried it for the first time.
Was he a fan?
He hasn't. I'm waiting till the next episode. Hopefully he talks about it. It's a sports podcast. He just randomly started talking about this. But yeah, he said the walk home, because he was walking when he did it. He said the walk home was rough after he drank it. But
it's like the Ron Burgundy in Anchorman. He's like, milk was a terrible choice on a hot day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I've never done raw milk. A lot of people I know swear by it.
8246 Members Nutrition Super Text line says raw milk's illegal in Tennessee, apparently.
That's one of the reasons why I feel like I'm drawn to it, to be perfectly honest. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want the government telling me what kind of milk I could drink. Do you?
I'll drink whatever I want to drink.
Get government out of my milk. 1063, this is what I've heard. 1063 says... health-wise, raw milk is the only way to go. Pasteurization kills all benefits.
Wow.
JB says unpasteurized milk is not much different in taste.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, I'd like to try it.
And 0026 on the Members Nutrition text line said, my grandfather would laugh at you at the mention of gloves. Papa would pop an abscess on a cow with his knife and then just wipe it on his jeans and cut an apple for lunch.
Good for him.
They're a different breed.
Yeah, exactly.
I am too soft.
Admittedly.
I am too soft for all of that. A lot of people say, yeah, the raw milk doesn't taste any different. And JB says millions of Americans drank raw milk for generations. Bring back raw milk. Do you think if I did it on the radio show, I could be in trouble for breaking a crime? Like, is it illegal to sell it or consume it?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we got to get into the
nitty gritty.
Yes, of the raw milk legislation here.
What part of that process would I be breaking laws in Tennessee?
Retail sale of unpasteurized milk, also known as raw milk in Tennessee, is illegal. However, a consumer can access raw milk through purchasing a portion of the cow. Okay, so yeah, you can consume it looks like.
Okay. Sandra, a member of the Red Pill's Moms Club, said that she grew up on raw milk and never had a cavity. Store milk is nothing but sugar water, she says. And she also pointed out it was $1 a gallon.
Dang.
Yep. 9058 says, drink raw milk. I want the feds to rush in. Get down on the ground. Drop the milk. Lindsay of the Red Pilled Moms Club says, just drink almond milk and be done with it. No. I can't do it, Lindsay. I'm not drinking almond milk. Do you do almond milk?
I've had it before.
How do you milk an almond?
I don't know. Yeah, Hannah loves almond milk, so I've definitely had it, but yeah, not the same.
6564 says he got raw milk last week from the Amish. We need a raw milk hookup.
That's it.
We need a plug.
Yeah, give us your plug.
Yeah.
Let us know the deeds.
Yeah. Like somebody hook me up with a plug. I'm in Murfreesboro. I need a raw milk plug. If you're just tuning in, that's probably sounded way out of context.
5866 says, look into what the government is doing to an Amish farmer in Pennsylvania. Look it up on YouTube. They shut him down.
I saw that. Weren't they like busting in and dumping out his raw milk? I'm pretty sure that's what happened. The government doesn't like the Amish. They can't control them. What was it? The Amish farmer in Pennsylvania.
We're now being informed that you can milk anything. So,
good to know.
Nut milk. There it is.
All right. So the Amish farmer in Pennsylvania, a Lancaster County court is going to make a decision regarding the Amish farmer's selling of raw milk. He's being sued by the State Department of Agriculture in Pennsylvania for selling raw milk without a permit. This was updated beginning of March. He's getting sued over raw milk. He's getting sued selling it without a permit. Yeah. The court ruled that the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture must be allowed to enter any location where Miller's Organic Farm manufactures, processes, or distributes raw milk products for inspection. So that Amish farmer, he's in some hot water that came to a boil via fire. Judy in Manchester, you're on Super Talk. What's going on?
Yes, I'm not talking about milk, but I wanted to remind you of something. I listen to your show a lot. I love it. And I want to talk about something that has to do with the condition of the United States. You're too young to remember, but Khrushchev, when he was in power in Russia, said something that is absolutely so true. It's unbelievable. He said the United States will be destroyed from within.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Have you ever seen the video of Yuri Bremnov? He's a former KGB agent, and he talks about the process of demoralization, destabilization, and how to kind of bring the U.S. down to its knees without firing a single shot.
Yeah, I haven't seen that, but I thought, that man was exactly right. We're not going to be destroyed from without.
So
we're being destroyed right now from within.
I'm with you, Judy, and I appreciate your call. It was Yuri Bezmenov. I think I said Bremnov. Yuri Bezmenov. He's a KGB defector, and he chillingly predicted everything we're seeing now. That is a must-watch interview. He basically said the first stage that the U.S. was going under a process called Great Brainwashing that had 4 stages, and he said the first stage is demoralization, then you get destabilization, and then it goes down the list. But if you haven't seen that, Yuri Bezmenov, a KGB agent, that's a red pill video if you've never seen it. Have you seen that one?
I've not.
I feel like I played some of it on.
It does sound familiar
on the show before. I feel like I have. Yuri Bezmenov. I'm like looking through my old audio. No items match my search. I must have played it in real time. Yeah, check that out. Yuri Bezmenov. It's 10:22 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand here for my friends at membersnutrition.com. You know membersnutrition.com. It is the one marketplace online where you know your vitamins and your supplements are coming from right here in the USA. You can't say that about the vitamins and supplements you're getting on store shelves around the country, but you can say that about all the products at membersnutrition.com. Now, membersnutrition.com is bringing you affordable and quality supplements at a fraction of that normal retail cost. No matter what type of supplements you're in the market for, immunity, weight loss, detox, men's health, women's health, relaxation supplements, they have it all, and they are proud of their supplements and vitamins. So go to the website, find what you need, membersnutrition.com. I did it. I've taken the Youthful Cleanse. I'm taking supplements for energy and general men's health, and I got it all at membersnutrition.com. If you're buying vitamins, if you're buying supplements, you should be buying them at membersnutrition.com, because if you're not, you don't know where they're coming from. At membersnutrition.com, you know they're coming from the USA. So go to membersnutrition.com and join membersnutrition.com, and you get an extra 50% off. Membersnutrition.com. members.com.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
What an absolute mess. Hey, it's Dan Mandison. Look at my closets. Unorganized to say the least. Even my window dormer is a train wreck. Stuff is everywhere. Now, luckily, California Closets is coming to my rescue. My personal design consultant, Vince, stopped by, measured, and is now showing me how to become more space efficient and organized on his 3D CAD system. It is amazing. And soon, my space is going to be organized, and yes, even Bandit approves. California Closets, a local company that can customize the storage in any room of your house. California Closets, what can they do for you? Find them online at californiaclosets.com and reach out for your free in-home consultation. Hey, it's Dan Mandison. I love my Patriot Supply. It's emergency food so you can care for your family no matter what. And today, we're fixing creamy chicken flavored rice. And the thing I love about my Patriot Supply, it's easy. You just get the water, turn on the heat, and in minutes, we are ready to go. Now, this food lasts for 25 years in special packaging, and yes, it does taste great. And in just minutes, it's ready to eat. Patriots don't rely on the government to take care of their family in emergencies. It's up to you. Order right now and get $200 off a 3-month food kit. It's important to go to preparewithmandis.com to get that great discount. That's preparewithmandis.com to get that great discount. Preparewithmandis.com. $200 off a 3-month food kit.
Still tracking the potential for severe weather in Middle Tennessee. And right now, everyone, including Southern Kentucky, is under a tornado watch until 3 o'clock. Details on that and the latest in the Israel-Hamas war at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, as the weather progresses and gets worse, we're going to be here for you all day long. As far as tornado watches, tornado warnings, Matt, Brian, myself, and we're all on standby in case things get hairy into the evening. I know Ken is going to be here. Mac's going to be here. It's an all-hands-on-deck day for Super Talk 99.7 WTN, so keep it here for all of your weather updates, and, I pray that this is just one of those false alarms, right? I think that's what we all want, so that way we can, get to dinner time and we look around and go, that was it? Like, that's what we all want, right? I'm getting a lot of reaction about raw milk on the Members Nutrition text line.
We stumbled into something great.
So 0026 says, please don't drink raw milk. There's a reason pasteurization was invented in 1864. Non-homogenized milk is close in texture as raw milk. And then I was like, oh, okay, maybe this is, like a counterpoint. But then I got another text, 2630, said, Big Milk is listening. So I have to ask 0026, are you working for Big Milk? Also, 0026 tells me don't drink raw milk, but this is the same guy that told me that his grandfather that would pop an abscess on a cow with a knife and wipe it on his jeans.
Wait,
and
what?
then
That's
cut
that
an
guy?
apple. Then cut an apple for lunch.
Yeah, that doesn't seem
And he
to
made
add
fun
up.
of me, you and I, saying we would need gloves to deal with dead or sick infected chickens.
Not adding up here.
It's a lot. Very confusing. 0026.
I feel like your grandpa would have drank raw milk.
I bet your grandpa did drink raw milk. If I was a betting man, or it was just whiskey, because your grandfather sounded super tough.
Yeah, exactly. One of the two.
Yeah, it may have just been whiskey. All right, so and then we're getting all these comments because meet the Fockers. We have so many text messages about that. So 615-737-9986 if you want to get in on the conversation. Don't forget. I can't. 4209. I can't read that text on the air. Don't forget, Monty Fritz is going to be joining the show at 11:05 to talk about his geoengineering ban pass. And it's heading to the governor's desk. We're very excited about that. I want us to all give Monty a collective high five.
10:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories, and everyone in Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky's under a tornado watch until 3 o'clock. Right now, we've got some strong storms in the neighborhood. Clarksville's getting very heavy rain, and then if you're on I-40, you're going to be traveling into some very heavy rain right in between Nashville and Jackson. That looks to be just to the east of Lexington there. But nothing severe right now in Middle Tennessee, just some strong storms. But we'll have to keep an eye on it for you. Israel-Hamas war, Secretary of State Antony Blinken's in Paris for meetings with his counterpart, and he's urging Israel to conduct a full investigation after 7 aid workers killed by an IDF airstrike are among what was already a record number of aid worker deaths in Gaza.
They have to be protected. We shouldn't have a situation where people who are simply trying to help their fellow human beings are themselves at grave risk.
The World Central Kitchen now says it will pause operations after having served more than 33 million meals since the start of the conflict. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
So Mac and I just spent that last commercial break trying to figure out how we got to being so anti-Big Dairy. Did you know that? We couldn't remember how. And then it was like, oh, yeah, the bird flu. The bird flu's coming. It is 10:36 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And our friend Monty Fritz has called in a little bit early, and we're very excited to talk to him. So we'll get him right on. Monty, what's going on, sir?
Good morning, sir. How are you today?
I am good. Give me an update on this geoengineering ban.
So we got it through the House floor last night. We, I think most of the Republicans voted for it. We had a ridiculous amendment offered by one of the Democrats to include Sasquatch in the bill. Which to me, just to be honest with you, degraded his position as an elected official. And I don't know if it's just a lack of technical competence on some of these people's part that they can't read and understand what the writing in front of them says, or if it's just, partisan politics. But we did get it passed last night. I think we got 70 votes.
I love it, man. So what happens next now that it's passed?
So it passed the Senate last week or week before, I think, Chris, and so it's headed to it'll go through the process of being headed up to the governor's desk.
Dude, this is fantastic. And then, so what happens if you guys catch somebody doing this kind of stuff, spraying in the air? What does the repercussions look like moving forward?
So, I tell you, Chris, to give a really good answer on that, I'd like to get TDAC engaged in that conversation at some point in time. Our bill basically just prohibits the injection of chemicals, chemical compounds, aerosols into the atmosphere in Tennessee, and it prohibits that. Unfortunately, some of the reference material I sent you last night that we researched, I think I sent you a copy of the whitehouse.gov document. I think it's 44 pages, and it outlines very clearly a plan to not only inject materials into the atmosphere, but to reflect the sunlight, to cool the earth. Crazy stuff. I think I sent you a copy of the U.S. House Energy and Water, and I think page 119 of that document, if you look at it, you'll see there are $39 million that were being budgeted to support this type of activity, including the radiation management, which is, as I understand it from these sources, it's about reflecting the sunlight away from the earth. Again, crazy stuff from my perspective.
No, and I got to say, after texting with you last night, I was super impressed with the amount of research you did on this. Monty started sending me all these links, like, read this, read this, read this. And I was like, I was blown away how informed you are on this subject.
Well, thank you. I would give all the good credit to Representative Bud Halsey from up in Kingsport. He come to me back in January and asked me to consider carrying this bill, and so it got me into doing some research. And you want to be fact based, and we tried to do that. I think we've accomplished that. I think we've accomplished with the bill something that is appropriately restrictive. To just prohibit those types of things. One of the links that I sent you, and it was a year old, I think, Chris, but there are 8 states that actively use cloud seeding to modify the rainfall. And if you looked at some of those other links, I think maybe the Yale article or the ABC News article, other nations are doing this. They're doing it with maritime vessels. They're using rockets to send this material up into the clouds to try to increase the rainfall. And I think that's getting into God's, controlling the rain is something I think that's God's responsibility. But even more than that, even if you can get past that, if it's not morally objectionable, I think it could be morally objectionable that we're sending chemicals like silver iodide into the clouds because, as I said last night in the House floor, everything that goes up must come down.
Yep.
And so those materials, while diluted over space and time, are accumulating. And we're continuing to do these cloud seeding operations and these attempts to reflect radiation wherever that may be occurring in the world. That material is coming back down to the earth. It's getting into our water, into our soil. It's getting on our skin. We're breathing it. And so for me, it's just an easy thing to be supportive of this. We've got lots of ridicule from the left. It's disappointing that the political party that talks about environmental justice were okay in voting against a measure that just says we're not going to allow you to inject these chemicals into the air in Tennessee.
Well, and it's not surprising that people kind of laugh at this and call people crazy. They've been doing that forever. But it's like, I look at some of the sources you sent me. It's like, this has been going on for a long time. This is not new. It's just been, treated as a fringe conspiracy theory by mainstream media and elected officials for far too long.
Yep.
So,
I agree with you. So hopefully we've taken a good step forward with this, and we can learn more about it. I think that knowledge is power, as they say, and I hope this will force us to learn as a state more about what's taking place. How much is what we're doing in the western states impacting the rainfall in the eastern states?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know that we've asked those questions yet. But even if you just look at the cloud seeding, it's a significant thing. And apparently it's happening all around the world. But again, one of the sources I sent you listed 8 different states that use this. And I think it's mostly for snowpack type thing. But that's still, that chemical's coming down, whatever chemical's used. And
and then
I think that's problematic.
And if it's for snow, it's going to melt and go into the water supply and all those things.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. It's crazy, Monty. I'm just so pumped that you got this done here in Tennessee.
Well, it was. I would encourage you and your listeners to go to capital.tn.gov and watch last night's session. I was probably an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes into the session last night. I haven't looked at it myself yet, but I think it's worthwhile for a couple things. One, it's worthwhile to see that most of you Tennessee Republicans have stood up for, clean air, water, and soil, and I think that's a good thing. But it's the other reason to watch it is just how disappointing some of the childish 8-year-old type behavior that you see from some of the Democrats that spoke on this last night. And you might say, well, Monty, you don't need to make this partisan. I'm not. They did last night. That behaved like, again, 8-year-olds or 12-year-olds. And they're here to conduct business for the people that they represent. And I'm pretty certain that most of the folks they represent are probably ashamed of their behavior last night.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me. But there was one Republican that voted with the Democrats, Rep. Sam Whitson out of Franklin. Why did he vote with the Dems?
Not sure. Sam is a great guy. He and I had talked about the bill some. I don't know. He voted, and those sessions are intended to be an iron sharpens iron. And I appreciate that. I really don't mind if I can't discuss or argue, if you will, in a polite way.
Yeah.
What I'm proposing, then I shouldn't be proposing it.
That's fair.
But I didn't realize. I haven't looked to see who had voted which way. I just looked at the vote count and was certain that most of the Republicans, I think 70, had voted with it. Sam is a super, super nice guy. I'm sure he has some reasons. I wouldn't question Sam Whitson's reason. He's an honorable man. And to be honest with you, those folks that voted against it because they don't understand it or they haven't looked at the information that's available, I get that. My contention from yesterday was just, again, the childish, sophomoric type behavior of some of the leadership in the Democrat Party. It's kind of like, who would vote for Joe Biden? Who would vote for someone who behaved that way? I'm not sure.
Well, what in particular from the Democrats stood out to you?
There was an amendment offered. If you go again, you'll see that the amendment number 2 was offered by one of the Democrat leaders, and it was adding some really just sophomoric language in and equated the whole geoengineering with, a search for Sasquatch. You can't make that up. When I read the amendment, I just kind of shook my head and thought, wow, is that all they've got to do?
Well, and I think it goes back to your point about people that haven't looked into this. They buy into the fact that this is just a wild conspiracy theory.
Yes. Yeah.
And the facts remain that many states are going the way that you guys are going and saying, no more of this.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that's a good thing. I think, I worked in a career field for a long time that if a risk was identified, a significant risk was identified, you didn't move forward until you address that risk. Either you mitigate it, control it, or remove it. And that's kind of the posture that we're in with this bill, is we have a risk. We know common sense people see the risk to this, and to prohibit it is I think it's just a really common sense way to look at this.
I'm with it, Monty, and again, thank you for getting this through. I appreciate you guys. I think this is a lot bigger of a deal than people are realizing in this moment. What's next for you? What is the next big goal ahead of you as we move forward?
So with outside the geoengineering bill, we have several bills that address enhancing the penalties for criminal illegal aliens in the state of Tennessee. Those that come here and are illegally in the United States and commit a felony violent crime or commit a crime with the use of a firearm, we've got a bill that would put them at risk of life in prison. That bill is behind the budget now. There's some cost out in 3031 for that bill, and interestingly enough, I combined that with safety in our schools by enhancing the penalty for any adult that goes on to a K through 12 campus while kids are there and commits a felony violent crime, that they would face life in prison. I think it's important for us to lay out clear, hard consequences for those that want to hurt our children and our staffs, our teachers, and our schools. And I think it's likewise important for those that have been either enticed or invaded this country to do the same thing. We have bills later this week that will. We've worked closely with the Department of Safety to develop a requirement to report in illegal alien activity in the state of Tennessee. If you ask most state offices today, they can't tell you how many illegals are here, which means we don't know how much it's costing us, which I think is part of the grander scheme of things for this crazy open border that we have going. But I think we states are going to have to do some things, and so we're trying to take up some legislation that helps address the matter constitutionally, and perhaps slows what I'm afraid is a wave of crime and violence. Not from, even though these folks have broken federal law by coming into the United States illegally, not all of them come here to do nefarious bad things. But I will tell you, Chris, I made a trip to the Texas border last year. And it is beyond what you can imagine just how lawless the area around the U.S.-Mexican border is today.
Really? And
Yes,
it's probably gotten worse since that year's gone by.
Well, I can only imagine. We were in McAllen, Texas, and in McAllen, Texas, what we were told by a retired border sector chief, Customs and Border Patrol border sector chief, is that the second most prevalent language needed in McAllen, Texas, aside from English and Spanish, because lots of folks there speak both languages, was Chinese.
Scary, right?
It is. It's. I don't know that it should surprise us, but he used words like lawlessness, and he issued this gentleman issued a warning. Make sure that you tell everybody in your states. There's several of us that were there, that this is coming your way. And, between the drugs, the fentanyl, the Chinese sent the fentanyl to Mexico, and then we drug mule it across. the human trafficking. I'm afraid we have resurrected open slavery in the United States over the last 3 years. We heard last year from folks there who lived in McAllen, and again from this retired border sector chief, that so many human beings were being forced across the river, the Rio Grande, to work and to send money back to the cartels. So many drowned that they had to install a fence on the water inlet for the city of McAllen to prevent the bodies from being drawn into the water supply.
Wow.
That's a shocking thing.
It really is.
But it's what we were told. So that's high on my interest. I'm working some energy legislation this year. We were successful in getting a resolution through both the House last year and then the Senate this year to establish a Tennessee energy policy. I'm afraid that on a national level and to some extent in the state, we have allowed political strategies to drive energy decisions. And what we're trying to turn this to in our state is let's have energy strategies that drive good political decisions. And so we're attempting to restructure the State Energy Policy Advisory Council to hybridize that council with Governor Lee's Executive Order 101 so that we can both embrace what we think is a nuclear renaissance that's coming, 10, 12, 15 years out, depending on who you ask, and how we design a bridging strategy to meet our need for kilowatts until then. Tennessee's growing so fast. Between 2010 and 2020, we had a 9% increase in residential population in the state of Tennessee. And we have continued, due to failed political strategies, I think, in D.C., to shut down some of our generating equipment.
Yeah.
What we call fossil fuel plants. Bull Run Steam Plant was the largest steam producer in the world when it was built. That ability to generate electricity was silenced, if you will, in November of last year. And it accounted for 4.3% of the generating capacity for the state of Tennessee. And so we've got to help with this. TVA is a good partner. Our local TVA folks are a good partner. We're working with them to try to restructure this Energy Policy Advisory Council. And let's set way markers ahead so that we can aim for those and make good decisions and help ourselves to the extent we possibly can here in Tennessee.
Hey, I love it, Monty. Thanks again for calling in, and congrats on getting the geoengineering ban all the way to the governor's desk. We really appreciate you, man.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
Yeah, you too. That's Monty Fritz, friend of the show, class act. Love that guy. Huge fan. He has a huge fan club in the Red Pill Mom Club.
So I say the RPMC can't get enough of him.
They love Monty Fritz. Who doesn't? It's 10:53 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Hey, let me ask you a question. Have you gotten your AC system serviced? No? Well, you're running out of time. You're going to be using it full steam ahead before you know it because it's that time of year. And if you haven't gotten it serviced the best way, the Busy Bee way with Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, you should do it now. Otherwise, you're waiting for a problem to pop up this time of year. It's time to be proactive. Keep your units in tippy-toppy shape. Hey, it's Chris Hand for my friends at Busy Bee. Now, whether you need that annual maintenance or maybe you've been kicking the can down the road because your AC system went out at the end of last season and you're not sure if you need to repair it or you need to replace it, well, either which way you need to go, call who I trust, Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. And if you do need to replace that AC system, you won't find a better value on replacement systems. Busy Bee will offer up to 12 months with no payments, no interest, with approved credit, and it'll pay in so many ways to sign up to be a Beehive member. That'll get you your thorough annual maintenance on your plumbing, heating, and air systems. It'll come with no overtime charges 24/7, 10% off all the repairs, and front-of-the-line service. Plus, Busy Bee will always come see you on Saturday. They have those convenient availability hours for those maintenance calls, so you'll never be left waiting to have your system fixed over the weekend. Busy Bee, they're your Rude Pro partner for satisfaction guaranteed. Call Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling at 615-775-7833. That's 615-775-7833 or online at busybeehvac.com.
11 o'clock on the dot this Tuesday morning. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. And all of Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky is under a tornado watch until 3 o'clock today. National Weather Service Nashville says this does not mean we won't have storms after 3 o'clock. So stay with Super Talk 99.7 WTN to stay weather aware all day. Right now, radar showing some strong storms to the west of Nashville, but nothing severe. Got another update on the weather in 2 minutes. Right now at our nation's capital, President Joe Biden speaking on the phone today with Chinese President Xi Jinping, marking the first conversation between the two leaders since their in-person summit in November. The ongoing wars in Gaza and Ukraine, as well as North Korea's nuclear capabilities, were expected to be topics of discussion. Meanwhile, Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in Paris for talks with his counterpart and repping the Biden administration and urging Israel to investigate that deadly strike that killed 7 aid workers, noting there was already a record number of aid worker deaths in Gaza since Hamas started that war.
They have to be protected. We shouldn't have a situation where people who are simply trying to help their fellow human beings are themselves at grave risk.
Now the non-governmental organization World Central Kitchen says it is pausing operations after having served more than 33 million meals in Gaza since the start of the war. Still no jackpot winner, and now the Powerball surpassing $1 billion. Dave Packer on how some players are trying to tip the scales in their favor.
Long lines of Powerball players, all with the same dream, turning a $2 ticket into a more than $1 billion jackpot. In Georgia, Antonio Jones has a system.
I look into the sky and I just can picture numbers, something like that. I just picture a number that I feel like that should be on the ticket.
At a Shell station in Mapleton.
This store, it holds a record of winning numbers and stuff like that, and I want to be one of the winning ones.
The $1.09 billion jackpot is Powerball's 4th largest ever.
And that's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. What's the latest on the weather? It's getting a little hairy out there.
Man, it looks dark.
It looks dark.
It looks very dark.
Well, if severe weather should come, we are going to be here for you all day. I pray that it doesn't. I pray that we go, that wasn't that much. But it looks like it could get a little severe. They're still looking at that 3 to 5 o'clock window.
I believe so. I believe that still is the window.
So I'll be here until noon. Murphy steps in. Brian Wilson taking us home in the afternoon. Everybody is weather alert. We have our eyes on the radars. And should anything happen, we are going to provide updates all day long, even if we have to break into overnights and so forth. Just as always, we are going to be here should it become severe. And that's part of the gig. It's one of the things that we want to make sure we provide for you. And don't forget, you can take us with you wherever you go with the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app. And I heard Brian Wilson yesterday talking about portable radios. Do you have a portable radio?
No.
I don't.
No, I don't. I should.
I want to get a hand crank radio.
That would be awesome.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
That'd be so cool.
I think that's what I need.
No, I should get one. Yeah, I heard him talking about that too.
I don't think today's the day to go out.
No, probably not.
I don't think. Maybe that's
Where would I even
I don't know.
Best Buy, like a Radio Shack? Are those the thing?
Are there Radio Shacks anymore?
I'm saying.
Is there Radio Shacks in Tennessee? Do you remember when they tried to rebrand and just become the Shack?
The Shack. I love
you remember that?
Yeah.
That I don't know. I don't know if there are Radio Shacks in Tennessee anymore.
Got one in Old Hickory.
All right.
Yep.
Well, it's not in the borough, so.
And it says Radio Shack dealer. I don't know.
It's like a guy just slanging stereos out of the trunk of his car.
He's like, no trademark, man.
Yeah. Mike and Hickman wants to talk. What's up, Mike? You're on Super Talk.
Yes. I wanted to talk to you about they just come up with a landfill. We went through a meeting last night, and they come up with a 1,000-acre landfill down there. Dunn had the proposed site and everything. Said that Marshall Blackburn and Green had signed off on it or something like that, what they were saying. And, it's got to go through some public hearings, but, they're trying to force it down our throat down there. We have some of the best land as far as walking around looking, the piney and fishing, canoeing, and everything, and they want to kill it.
Wait, so where are they putting the landfill?
Right there, off of exit 152, Highway 230. You turn left and go toward Nunley, towards Centerville. And right there is where they're wanting to put it right off the interstate. We asked them, said, our local landfill, how many trucks does it run out a day? Run in a day? They said 2. And we asked the company that's going to put in this landfill, says, well, how many trucks is going to be running into that land? They said 230.
Interesting. This is the first I'm hearing about it. Full disclosure, I will look into it though, Mike, and I'll once I do a little bit more research, I'll have a better idea on what the thoughts are. Okay.
Well, the first we heard about it was yesterday.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you bringing it. I appreciate you bringing it to my attention, man. Really do.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. God bless, Mike. Take it easy. All right. Yeah. I just
I hadn't heard a lot. Yeah, I hadn't heard anything about that.
I'm like furiously Googling things, and I'm not getting anything.
Yeah, I haven't gotten anything.
So I'll keep my eye on it. People don't want beautiful areas to be ruined by landfills. I understand that.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
100%
tracks. All right, so want to go to 2024. We were gonna talk to Monty Fritz here. And he called in early, which was great.
That was awesome, man.
Yeah. I love Monty. I think my favorite thing about Monty Fritz is that he doesn't have canned political answers.
Yeah, he's genuine.
He's just a solid guy. All right, as we go to 2024, we have there's an election coming. Did you know?
What?
Dude.
Wait, does this mean we could lose this guy?
I don't know. They're doing everything they can to make sure that doesn't happen. There's a poll. There's a poll from the Daily Mail. What percentage of voters think Biden will be alive at the end of a second term?
Wow.
You got a guess for me?
What percentage of voters think that he will?
Will be.
65?
38%.
Whoa, really?
Only 38% of voters think Biden would be alive at the end of a second term. And more than a third believe Kamala Harris would be president by January 2029 if Biden is reelected. Crazy. So yeah, we have two old candidates. This is just facts, right? But only 38% of likely 2024 voters believe Joe Biden would be alive at the end of another 4-year term, according to an exclusive poll for dailymail.com. And that means one thing, Kamala Harris would be in the top job. But only 36% of likely voters believe Harris will be president at the end of the term. So they don't think Biden will live through the term, and then less think Kamala Harris will be president. Isn't that crazy?
Terrifying.
So 38% believe that Joe Biden will be alive. 54% think Trump will be alive at the end of a second term. You've seen Trump's energy. I feel like there's no way he wouldn't be alive at the end of another term.
Yeah, but you know it's bad when the young candidate is RFK at 70.
Oh my gosh.
That's where we're at.
And have you heard RFK? So he was on CNN and they were asking him about a bunch of stuff, and they brought up Ralph Nader. So CNN's grilling him because there's an old clip circulating of him saying Ralph Nader is going to steal votes from Al Gore, and that's not a good look. So CNN's trying to be like, well, you're going to steal votes from Biden.
In 2000, Ralph Nader obviously was running, and you did an interview with NBC News just a few months before the election. You said this.
There's a political reality here, which is that his candidacy could draw enough votes in certain key states from Al Gore to give the entire election to George W. Bush.
And then you wrote an op-ed in the New York Times. You wrote, Ralph Nader is my friend and hero, but Mr. Nader's candidacy could siphon votes from Al Gore.
I think my biggest takeaway here is that RFK said Ralph Nader was his hero. I feel like that's pretty strong. All right, sorry.
Mr. Nader dismisses his spoiler role by arguing there is little distinction between the major party candidates and that Mr. Gore is compromised on too many issues. While I admire his high-minded ideals, his suggestion that there is no difference between Mr. Gore and Mr. Bush is irresponsible.
Irresponsible. Now, I will say this, to CNN's credit, they're right to be fearful of this. RFK is going to steal votes from Joe Biden. I think that everybody is aware of that. This is just one of those things it's going to happen, right?
Do you think he steals more from Biden or from Trump?
I think he steals more from Biden. I still do. Because I think that when you look at the what we like on the conservative side, like I like RFK. I think he's a decent enough guy. I wouldn't vote for him. But like the things that we like about him, it's a short list, right? It's a pretty short list.
Yeah, I'd be curious. I don't know. I can't remember when Tucker said it, but I remember Tucker saying that he thinks he'd steal more from Trump. I don't know. That was a few months ago. I don't know what that'd be updated now, but yeah, it is an interesting conversation. Which side was going to lean more that way?
I mean, the Democrats are leaving Joe Biden in droves, though. Young voters, black voters, Hispanic voters, Muslim voters, Jewish voters, everybody. There's too many competing ideologies under one umbrella. But RFK did tell CNN he will be on the ballot in every state, including D.C.
I mean, because I know I will be 100%. I'm going to be on the ballot in every state in the District of Columbia. Well, Eve, yes, and I've said this from the beginning, and we're already well on our way there. I think within 8 weeks, we're going to probably be on another 19 states. So we were not allowed to get on the ballot before in most states because we didn't have a vice presidential candidate. You have to name a vice presidential candidate to get on the ballot in about 26 states. So now we have that.
Yeah, and he did. He chose a far left activist who was formerly married to the head of Google as his VP. And I think that's another sign that he's going to steal more votes from the radical leftists than he will from Trump, because his VP choice was married to the guy that founded Google. She's not exactly moderate by any stretch of the imagination. But he did say one thing on the CNN interview that I thought was fascinating. They brought up the threat to democracy. You know, it wouldn't be a CNN show if they didn't mention the threat to democracy at least once. And they asked him, who's the bigger threat to democracy?
But do you really believe that when people talk about the threat to democracy that Trump poses, do you really think that is an equal evil to Biden?
I mean, listen, I can make the argument that President Biden is a much worse threat to democracy.
I think everybody can make the argument that President Biden is a much worse threat to democracy. The weaponization of the DOJ, the radical ideologies that he's pushing. Let's not even get into all the the military mishaps. I mean, it's unreal. You talk about the botched Afghanistan withdrawal. Do you know that the State Department under Joe Biden did not send their best to Afghanistan for that botched evacuation? That's what an ex-official said in the testimony. This is from the New York Post. The State Department did not dispatch their best and brightest to help with the botched Afghanistan evacuation of Americans and their allies from Afghanistan, a former Foreign Service officer told congressional investigators. Sam Aronson, who served as a consular volunteer during the operation, told the House Foreign Affairs Committee in a transcribed interview which was released on Monday, I can't speak for every single person who was there, but there were at least 4, if not more, that were, in my perspective, not the correct choice to send there. They did not have the soft skills such as adaptability, resilience, the experience serving in a dangerous or high-threat overseas environment, added Aronson, who recounted that the volunteers to assist in the pullout were sought from major U.S. embassies and consulates around the world. As he put it, large offices that wouldn't necessarily miss 3 or 4 people, as opposed to a smaller embassy where the entire consular section might only be 3 people. So this guy joined the Foreign Service in 2015, spent time in Niger and Nigeria and West Africa, claimed some of his fellow volunteers when it came to really high risk and high threat scenarios, such as the Abbey Gate bombing, from my perspective, were not emotionally equipped to handle the stress that came with that. This is the threat to democracy. Our lower standing in the world and militarily. I mean, we can go on and on and on. William in Nashville, you want to talk about the election? What's up, William?
Hello. I really appreciate what you do. I want to make one more point, and I know you've stated this before, but we all agree Biden is a terrible president, and there's a long list of reasons. In my opinion, none of that matters. The Democrats have already figured out, and I don't know what it is, how to cheat in this election. Are our conservative leaders preparing for that?
I sure hope
so. How can we not?
I sure hope so.
How can we not? Can't we just assume that they already have a plan in place? They don't play by the rules. They don't care about the rules. If we stand by and assume they're going to play by the rules, then it's our mistake. Thank you, and I'm going to hang up and listen.
Hey, I appreciate your call, William. And I mean, I hear you. I hope that they have a plan. I sure do. That's all I got, right? I mean, I'm not sure that they have anything down in writing. I know that under the new RNC leadership, they are going to be going after ballot harvesting legally where it's allowed. They're going to be trying to register new voters. They're going to be doing the mail-in ballot stuff. Will that be enough? I kind of, I hear where you're coming from, William, because it's like the Dems have been doing this for years now. Years. So even if we do start stepping up and doing the things we need to do, or is it going to be too little too late? I think that those fears are reasonable. But when you look at what the Democrat Party has become, are they going to be able to cheat that much? You know? Will they be able to cheat that much? They don't have the stranglehold on the media that they once had in 2020. They don't have the stranglehold on social media that they had in 2020. I think that those are important factors. It's 11:22 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Tornado watch for Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky until 3 o'clock today. That could be just the first batch of severe weather we face. Right now, National Weather Service Nashville has put Nashville, Franklin, Mount Juliet, Smyrna, and Murfreesboro under the biggest threat for large hail and damaging wind for about the next half hour. So we'll be here to watch it for you. Also tell you more about President Biden's phone call with China's President Xi coming up at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Han. Mac Morey producing. You guys on the Members Nutrition text line and the phone lines at 615-737-9986. Is this the theme song for today?
And the thunder rolls.
The thunder rolls and the lightning strikes.
We're getting lightning over here. Have you seen it?
I haven't.
You haven't seen it yet? You heard the thunder, right?
Oh, yeah. I heard the thunder.
Looks a little spooky out there, doesn't it?
It does, man. Wow.
I'm not a fan of it being dark during the daytime.
It's so dark. Yeah.
Wait, who has time for that?
Am I in Alaska?
Yeah, seriously. Does Alaska do? Yeah, they have what's like 20 days a night?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And then they have the flip side, too.
When it's day, all end and all night.
What would you prefer?
Night.
You would prefer night?
I think
I'd probably prefer night.
It's like 3 a.m. and it's sunny outside. No. That's going to tick me off.
Well, you can get blackout curtains,
That's
right?
true. You're right. You can combat the... Yeah, you're right. You're right. No, you're right. Changing my mind. Convinced.
This is what I do every day. I change people's minds. What would you prefer? Day during all day? All day?
It's hard to see. I know it's hard to say.
All night, all day.
Hey man, raw milk all day, all night. We get down to the deep stuff here.
Oh geez, Renee on the Members Nutrition text line said, "Careful playing his music. LOL, he might sue." I didn't do more than 8 seconds, did I?
I don't know.
Yikes, I didn't know that. Didn't know that. I won't do it again, I promise.
6927 says, wicked weather here in South Nashville. Yeah, as that text came in, the rain just started falling exponentially harder than it just was. So,
yeah.
It's coming here.
It's coming down. All right, stay safe out there. And if you need weather updates, we're going to have them for you all day here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Murphy's in at noon. Brian Wilson taking you home. And we will be updating you on the storms all day long. Again, I hope and I pray that tomorrow we have nothing to discuss. I think that's the best case scenario, that this is just a big warning and, nothing happens. We're definitely getting some rain. We're definitely getting some thunderstorms. But, let's just hope and pray that we get nothing else. We don't need anything else. The Democrats, though, they do need some help. Many prominent Democrats are coming out. We played Michael Rappaport yesterday saying, I'm not voting for Biden. Voting for Trump is on the table. And now another prominent Democrat is coming out saying the Democrats should be scared. I'll play that audio coming up for you after the news with Ken Weaver, which happens right now on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. And again, a tornado watch for Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky until 3 o'clock today. And right now, some of you are in some pretty heavy rain with quite the lightning show. It's nothing severe, but it looks like from downtown Nashville all the way back to Centerville and over to Dixon, it is raining very heavily. There's lightning in it. And Franklin, it looks like it's going to be hitting you here in about the next 15 minutes or so. National Weather Service Nashville, by the way, has put Franklin, Nashville, Mount Juliet, Smyrna, and Murfreesboro under the biggest threat for large hail and damaging wind for about the next half hour. And the National Weather Service reminds everyone that just because the tornado watch is only until 3 o'clock this afternoon, that doesn't mean more storms could fire up afterward and carry on into the evening. We'll be here to let you know. Got the full forecast coming up. That's the latest news. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
11:34 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. You can find me on Twitter, True Social, Instagram. All of them are the same, at Chris Hand on air. Hit the follow button. I will follow back, or I'll at least try to, because some of you guys have weird names. So send me a message and I'll follow you. The Democrats have a party. The Democrats have a problem in their party. And a prominent Democrat is ringing the alarm bells. James Carville, the Ragin' Cajun, James Carville is warning the Democrat Party has horrifying numbers among young minority voters. He went on a live stream yesterday and warned that they are shedding voters. It's actually fascinating to listen to him say this, because I've been saying this for a while now. This is James Carville on the Democrat Party's problem.
I've been very vocal about this. It's horrifying. Our numbers among younger voters, particularly younger blacks, younger Latinos, or whatever, but whatever younger, I don't like younger people of color, particularly males. We're not shedding them. They're leaving in the droves.
Yeah, they are. And I will point out, this guy he's a former Bill Clinton campaign strategist. He's in on the Democrat Party BS, right? But he couldn't figure out whether to call Latino voters Latino or Hispanic, and it was, I don't know if you caught that. I thought it was kind of funny, because you could probably hear in his mind the oh no.
Younger blacks, younger Latinos, or whatever, but whatever younger, I don't like younger people of color, particularly males.
Do you hear his gears just like, oh gosh, I'm going to get canceled if I don't do this right? Younger people of color. I don't know. Is that the technical term?
Latinos, or whatever, but whatever younger, I don't like younger people of color, particularly males.
He like wipes the sweat off his brow. Dodged a bullet there, James.
His brain during that whole sentence just get me out. Abort.
I mean, but he's not wrong. Okay, according to a Gallup survey that was released in February, last year, 66% of black adults leaned or identified as Democrat, while 19% said they were Republican. But now that's down, and it's sorry. This is the current one. 66% of black adults lean or identify as Democrat. Previously, it was 77% in the last election. They're down 11 points. Similarly, the poll found 47% of Hispanics calling themselves Democrats and 35% identifying as Republican. But in 2021, that was 57% of Hispanics identifying as Democrats and 26% saying they were Republican. We're gaining so much ground. Both of these demographics are going to be absolutely necessary for the Democrats to win in 2024. These are huge voting blocks for the Democrat. But President Biden is hemorrhaging support from black and Hispanic voters. And why are they hemorrhaging all this support? Well, the border crisis, for starters. Maybe the fact that nothing is affordable anymore. Even down to just housing prices. You want to have a family? You want to buy a house for your family? Well, you're going to need more salary to afford that.
The average home buyer needs to make over $110,000 to afford the average home. A new Bankrate study showing that the required salary to make that purchase has jumped 46% in just 4 years. Home buyers only needed to make $76,000 back in 2020. And the issue, widespread. You now need a six-figure salary to buy the average home in 23 states.
You need a six-figure salary to buy an average home in 23 states. I thought Bidenomics was working. I thought that we just needed to wait and then we'd feel the benefits, right?
Including the District of Columbia. 4 years ago, that number was just 6. Mortgage rates, of course, have played a small role in the bump, but home prices have, by and large, kept pace with the needed salary to buy them. The average home up 42%, sitting at $412,000. Now, even though
the average home price is up 42%. 42%. The mismanaging of the economy is absolutely a symptom or absolutely a cause of the symptom of the Democrat Party losing their support. That's before we even get into lower level like groceries. Those prices haven't come down. And in the meantime, we're paying so much money for illegal aliens coming into this country. So much money. It is unsustainable what they're doing. Trump commented on the illegal aliens being let in by the millions.
When you look at what's happening all over the country with the cities, the way they're going bad, when you think that they're allowing millions and millions of people into our country, many coming from jails and mental institutions and terrorists and everything else, drug dealers, and they just walked right into our country. Our country is being poisoned.
It is, and we're being poisoned by fentanyl. We're being poisoned by crime. We see these stories every single day. But the Biden campaign is going out there. They're on the campaign trail. Joe's not really, but his surrogates are. Junior spokesman Michael Tyler. He's trying to tell us that actually the Biden economic record is really, really good.
The thing about this election is that we actually have receipts on both ends, so we can compare the records. And on every metric, Joe Biden comes out on top.
In every metric, comparing the economic record of Trump and Biden, Biden's junior spokesman, Michael Tyler, says Biden comes out on top. Every metric.
You look at the economy, 15 million jobs, 800,000 manufacturing jobs, the work that he's done to lower costs for Americans, bringing American manufacturing back. Joe Biden delivered where Donald Trump failed.
Joe Biden delivered where Donald Trump failed. How do you feel about that? 615-737-9986. Joe Biden won where Donald Trump failed. It's an interesting take. It's an interesting take. While they were on the campaign trail, the Biden camp also criticized Trump for attending the funeral of the NYPD officer Jonathan Diller.
I don't think it was a deep personal connection between Donald Trump and Detective Diller that motivated Trump to attend the wake for this particular officer.
Oh, it wasn't a deep personal connection. The family invited him, and he attended. There were 3 other presidents in New York that day. None of them decided to attend. And actually, Kathy Hochul tried to show up, and they sent her packing. They said, hit the bricks. You're not welcome here. But the Biden campaign is out there doing their best to demonize Trump and make Biden look good. Even doubling down on the bloodbath and dictator hoax, their junior spokesman, Mike Tyler, said.
He's promising a bloodbath unless he can serve as a dictator on day one.
He's promising a bloodbath unless he can serve as a dictator on day one. This is the Biden administration. And they totally and wholly ignore the southern border, the just dire economic straits we're in, the cost of groceries, the cost of housing, the southern border. I mean, the cost of the southern border is unbelievable. In New York City, they're paying more money. They're giving more money to illegal aliens than they're providing military families.
It's as part of a $53 million program, giving the average family of 4 more than $1,400 per month. It's more than the allowance for some deployed troops. Fox News Digital breaking it all down, saying, quote, while an average military family is suffering from a deficit of $1,860 over a period of 9 months, a similarly sized illegal migrant family is being given nearly 7 times more.
Oh, military families are not receiving as much as illegal aliens. Color me shocked. 7 times more for an illegal alien family in New York than a military family. This is Joe Biden's presidency. Will Cain commented on the southern border. He's like, it's worse. It's worse than just handing out money and hanging a welcome sign. It's far worse than that.
It's not as even though we hung out this welcome sign, vacancies across the world, but we have a sign that even says now hiring or giving out free money. There's a saying in, cards at the table, if you can't figure out who the mark is, you're the mark. We're the mark. This is embarrassing for America that we are giving out $1,500 a month. How much do they load those cards up with, by the way? Are these illegal immigrants now, targets for theft and crime? I mean, I'm sure those cards are valuable to criminals to steal. But I want to say this real quick, Pete. I saw the Mexican president say this will be America's problem until they send, billions to the south, to Central America and to Mexico to address the root cause problems. I mean, he basically said, I'm going to keep flooding you until you send me money. We're the mark. We're the mark politically. We're the mark locally to deal with the problems. And it's all a reflection of our leadership. The world has looked at us and gone, that's our piggy bank.
Yeah, it certainly feels like that. And that's how it's felt since Biden took office. Dave in Hendersonville, you want to talk about these Dems. Dave, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, man?
You said it a little better than I said it. Yeah, I wasn't being so nice. I've said from day one we need to remove them. I'm not speaking of violence here, but have you seen the movie Purge?
Yep.
Yeah, we need to purge without the violence. I'm not talking about taking anybody out. I'm talking about rounding them up, packing them up, and shipping them right on out of this country. Because they're purposely trying to destroy the greatest country in the world.
Oh, yeah. This is by design, Dave.
It is by design. And there's no other... You can't take it any other way. Everything they are doing is on purpose. It's not by accident. And this doofus economic dumb a-hole that Biden has, he never created 15 million jobs. Even people went back to work after they shut everything down.
Yeah, I'm with you, Dave.
There's nothing, absolutely nothing he can take and say he has done good for this country.
Dave, you hit the nail on the head, man. I appreciate you.
Y'all have a good day. I'm out working, so I can't. Here's my truck horn.
My man.
There it is.
There it is. Appreciate you, Dave. Stay dry out there, Dave.
Yeah.
All right, later. Yeah, I mean, it's by design. You know that the U.S. Border Patrol agents that are assigned to the southwest border, do you know how many migrants they apprehended during March? Just about 140,000. That's apprehended. That's not gotaways. That's according to an unofficial report reviewed by Breitbart, Texas. That number of migrant apprehensions at the southwest border remains virtually unchanged from February. So what? Almost 300K between February and March that we know about? Unsustainable. And the apprehension report for March brings the total for the first 6 months of the fiscal year 24, which began on October 1st, 2023, to more than 1,034,000. It's the third year in a row where agents have apprehended more than 1 million illegal aliens in the first 6 months of the year. Third year in a row. Unsustainable. Completely unsustainable. And Texas is doing their thing, but that's just diverting these illegal aliens elsewhere. The San Diego sector reported the second largest number of migrant apprehensions in March. They had just over 33,000 apprehensions in San Diego. The February apprehensions were up by more than 85% from 1 year earlier. Insanity. John on 40 wants to talk immigration. You're next on Super Talk. What's up, John?
Hey, pretty good. And yourself?
Good, man. How are you? Oh, yeah, you just answered that. All right.
Hey, I said this in the 90s. It's too late. It's too late. Our country, the glass has been overfull for a long time. There's nothing that we can do anymore without getting, and I hate to say it, violence is getting ready to happen. These people are stealing our children's inheritance. They're stealing our money. They're stealing our jobs. They're taking our land. They're taking our businesses. It's too late. Who's going to fix it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go full black pill yet, John, and I hope there's no violence. I appreciate your call, but I think that if we get Trump in there in November and he does what he's promised to do, which is a mass deportation effort, I don't want to go on the air and say that all is lost. I don't believe that all is lost. Remember, if all was lost, the propaganda that they shove down our throats on a daily basis would be absolutely needless.
Bingo.
And the fact that we see the propaganda from the left wing, the mainstream media, the politicians, means that all is not lost.
Bingo.
They wouldn't need to flood us with that propaganda if all was lost. If they already won, they would take they would go into coast mode. They wouldn't flood the propaganda. So I'm not taking the black pill. I've taken the black pill before, but then I try to balance it out. Find something to be positive about.
Yes.
I feel you. I feel like everybody in this in the conservative area ecosystem, we go through these waves, right? Where it's like all is lost. Okay, things are going to be good.
Yeah.
To, oh my gosh, did you hear what happened? The president just said oyster bunny, and then we all laugh. So I don't know. I'll hold out hope. For now. Let's get to November 1st, okay? Let's see what happens in November. Lord willing. It's 11:51 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand, and I want to tell you about my friends at Paul Winkler, Inc. You know Paul. He's been hosting the Investor Coaching Show on WTN for a while now. It runs every Saturday from 3 to 6. He's actually been hosting that show for over 20 years. If you missed last Saturday's episode, it was a banger. They're always bangers. But you might not know that Paul started that show after he spent time studying under an economist who went on to win a Nobel Prize. That's his background. That's how Paul cut his teeth. That's pretty cool. And he's also an avid collector of financial planning designations. He has 8 of them now. And my wife and I, we work with Paul. We heard him on WTN way before I started working here. And when I did get my show here, I knew I wanted to work with Paul. Everybody around the office speaks so highly of him. You meet Paul, and he's the same guy you hear on the air. You shake his hand, you break bread with him. He'll answer your questions honestly and in a way that you can understand. He did that for me. Plus, his team hold themselves to the highest level of fiduciary status. And because of that, I have to tell you, I get paid when I do these commercials. That's the truth. But I don't get paid to be a client. I do that by choice. And one of the reasons why I chose that is because the team does nothing on commission. That's so key for me. Because the fact that they do nothing on commission, I can really feel sure that the decision making they're helping me arrive at is for me and not for them, because nothing is done on commission. And they'll educate you along the way so you don't get that uneasy feeling of blind trust. Like if you don't know where to start, you start with Paul. He'll look at your whole financial picture and then help you make decisions. And the easiest way to start is by setting up a 15-minute phone call today. And you can set that up by going to paulwinkler.com. That's paulwinkler.com. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Matt Murphy joining me in studio. What's going on? It's Chris Hand. Matt Murphy.
I'm very angry.
Give me your deep thoughts on conjoined twins.
I'm very angry because I will be unable to do that because we're out of time. Luckily, I have 3 hours to go deep on the conjoined twin story. Remember the Siamese twins when they called them Siamese twins when we were kids?
That's
the two guys in the Guinness Book of World Records.
That's racist now.
I think so, probably.
You can't even have Siamese cats in the Aristocrats without a
so
without a little warning
both
on
of
there.
them can move their toes. What if they are attempting to move their toes in conflicting ways?
Ooh.
I mean,
I feel like you would trip a lot if that was the case.
I mean, who wins? Who wins?
I don't know.
We all win. That's who wins.
I want that show to come back on the air.
I'm coming up with some of this fun and frivolity plus weather in just a little bit. I don't know what we're doing. This is a back timer, so it's your show. You tell me.
Did you hear it's going to rain?
It's raining. It's hailing on I-40. I just drove through it. Yep. Hailing. All hail's breaking loose on I-40.
Oh.
On the way in. Hello. I'll be here for the jokes.
Nikki Haley's campaign should have used that.
All hail's breaking loose.
It's 12 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.